I've seen you also discuss the importance, which I think is a great thing for people to understand, the trust required in a money system between countries, which Bitcoin solves by not having one country be an issuer. Can you just talk a little bit about why that's important and the significance of what that means?
Well, the thing is, no country, none of the countries, no governments trust each other. Okay, so if they're going to decide on what money to use at some point, why would they settle on anything that they know somebody else has an advantage over them with? They're going to bicker around, different things. Historically, that usually ended up in wars, and the strongest army won, and that money became, the dominant one. Now all fiat currencies are failing, and so again, we've never had a neutral money that is not owned by any one country, and they all know that no other government can do anything to gain an advantage over them. So I genuinely believe that all these governments that are talking rubbish about Bitcoin are like trying to, cast a bad light on it. They're all accumulating it. And at some point in the future, they're going to come about and announce, oh yeah, well, you know what? No, Bitcoin is the greatest thing. It's good for national security or whatever other, BS marketing they're going to spew at. And then, everybody's going to think it was actually the government's idea to create Bitcoin, right? There's going to be enough people to believe that nonsense. But at the same time, I think once we get to that point, and I don't think it's going to take that long, anyone attempting to disrupt the Bitcoin network will be committing a crime. As crazy as that sounds now, because now it's the foundation of the economies, right? Like now you have politicians talking about Bitcoin reserves. You've got politicians fighting, over each other to see who's going to push Bitcoin adoption the hardest. You're at the fight you stage. We're at the fight you stage, but at the same time they join you phase. So this is it's a funny transition to watch it happen in real time. But at some point in the very near future, I genuinely believe this is going to become like a standard as countries continue moving away from the US dollar, which is accelerating, on a weekly basis now. They may try to try like the whole gold thing. It's not going to work. We're living in a digital age now. Gold was fine 5,000 years ago before the internet, but now, it's a nice shiny object. Yes, it won't lose, as much value as, fiat currencies, but it's nowhere near the scalability and, practicality of taking us into the future like something like Bitcoin is. And plus gold, you can never audit its account. It's not a finite supply, heavily manipulated. So again, it has all these bad marks against it, which don't exist in Bitcoin. Again, it comes down to the inability of any human being to corrupt sound money. This is what's required in order to take humanity to the world that we want to live in, a world where you are genuinely free and where the power of money is completely stripped from all governments across the board, no exceptions, which in fact forces them to do their jobs, right? Which is to serve the people and not try to play God and dictate how everybody is going to live their lives. So you'll see wars diminish, no more wars. Who's going to fund them? Because, if you make a stupid decision on a Bitcoin standard, well, your sats are gone. You can't print them again. You can't create them out of thin air. So you're going to have to mull over every decision you make like 100 times to make sure it's a good one. Because again, if it's a bad one, the money's gone, it's gone. You're going to have to earn it back. So most problems around the world will disappear, in my opinion. Wars, crimes, genocides, all of that stuff. Because who's going to pay for them? Right now, all this is being funded by the money printer. Remove that, they vanish. Who's going to fund the armies to go fight these wars? Are soldiers going to go risk their lives for free? I don't think so. Who's going to fund them? You see what I mean? It's all these evil things that are happening in the world. They all have one thing in common. It's fiat money. And if you have an unlimited supply of it, because, you just have to hit one button on a printer, well, then you can do whatever you want. So here comes along this thing called Bitcoin, and it castrates that ability. It pulls the plug away from the money printer. It blows it up completely. And so you remove all of this evil, almost instantly. Because now, humans are no longer in control of the money. Now humans have to be productive members of society. That's how you're going to earn your keep. Because if you don't provide value, who's going to pay you? And now you have AI that can replace you if your skill set is, a low-hanging fruit type of skill set. So it's going to force humanity to upgrade everything about them. Otherwise, you risk being replaced by AI.